Alright guys, so we're going to be talking about Arcanes here. We're kind of just trying to introduce as many of the things before we do the simulacrum video, which won't really matter if you're watching this out of order. But we're going to introduce Arcanes, which the Arcanes being there is kind of a newer thing in the last year or two. Didn't used to be that way. Anyway, say that a lot. So the way Arcanes are broken down, there are Warframe ones, there are Operator ones, there are Amp ones. The Tectilist, that would be for your Tarhan strike weapon. You have primary, secondary, melee, kit guns, Zaws, and incomplete, which doesn't really matter. Those are just if you have ones that haven't been filled in. So, brief run through. So the ones for your Warframe are going to have effects like on-shield damage. Or I guess you should say, all Arcanes are going to have conditional buffs, right? So in the case of Arcane Avenger, which is a popular one, has been popular, it says on damage, so you take damage, 21% chance for 45% critical chance for 12 seconds. Now, the cool thing about that is that that's just flat crit chance, so it applies to everything. And obviously you can check on the wiki to make sure there aren't any weird interactions. But so things like that are helpful for when you're doing builds because they accentuate what a certain thing is doing. Like say I'm playing like Necros. I'm going to get a lot of health orbs because his ability literally says if you get extra loot, one of his abilities, if you would get extra loot, roll to see if it's a health orb first. If it is, you can roll again. So what this says is on health pickup, I get extra max health. And it continues throughout the whole mission and it stacks. So comboing like this Arcane with Necros gives me the ability to just pump up my max health, which since the way I run my Necros, his health is spent as energy for one of his abilities, super helpful to just keep upping that max health because that means less of a chance of me to accidentally spend that energy, that health as energy, and get murked. So, cool interaction, works really well. Something like, I think it's Pistolier that I'm looking for. Yeah, Pistolier? Pistolier? I have to have a maxed out Pistolier. Okay. Anyway, on pistol headshot kill, 17% chance for ammo efficiency. So, like, if you're running a high capacity, um, you know, secondary pistol, something like, the Axe Stiletto or the Aximati, something like that, and you can get a headshot kill, that'll get that ammo efficiency up. So this one is for a Warframe, but its uses are because you're using a certain weapon. So that can kind of be something. Titania, her Dex Pixia are a pistol. So Arcane Pistolier would work with her Dex Pixia. And kind of just things like that you can find. And a lot of builds will have a combination of things to make them really good or to help them out. Then the Molt ones, which are more interesting. Kind of interesting thing that you can do also. So, like, if you have an offensive caster frame, so, like, say you're using, I don't know, what's one without healing? Say you're using Ember, and for some reason, you want your Ember to both be dealing damage and be nuking people. Something like Molt Reconstruct, which says heal yourself and allies within affinity range, 6 health for each energy point spent on the initial casting cost of abilities. So if your ability, say, costs 30 energy to use, then you're giving 180 health each time you cast it to yourself and allies. So it's a way of maybe turning a frame that's not normally a healer into a healer because you're playing with them. It's kind of a niche use. I use it a lot on my Revenant in order to help make sure he doesn't go down because he has such a small health pool. And it works really well with his Mesmer skin for that build that I have. So, but again, like they kind of just work with that. Your operator ones are a little more straightforward. I like Emergent Savior because it lets your operator be there longer, and then I don't even know what else I'm running. I might just be running dual Emergent Saviors. No clue. Yeah, but there are a bunch like Mage's Lockdown on Void Sling, drop a mine that tethers people. That's great for grouping people, and then you can quick switch to like an explosive. Or Mage's Vigor gives health to your operator. I think. Yeah, it just says health to the operator. On Void Sling, heal 5%. So there's a bunch of things that you can again just building around. Amps, limited, but again, just looking for things kind of accentuate that build. I don't have anything to say about tech lists because I don't have mine yet. So anyway, getting in the primary, secondary, and melees. This is kind of where things start. Again, you're tooling more for the weapon at this point, whereas your Warframe ones are a little more broader and can affect both your Warframe and your Opera ones can be a little more about what you're using, how you're using it. The weapon ones are almost always tuned into the build of the weapon. Um, so like Primary Deadhead is great for weapons that you're almost always going to be using a headshot for because you get that huge damage, you get a headshot multiplier, and you get less recoil. So if you're putting it on a sniper rifle or a rifle like weapon, that's where it's going to be doing. Dexterity, are you a run and gun person? You know, or are you more of a gun until I get close and then start beating them with my melee? Dexterity works really well for that because it benefits from melee killing people and also gives you an extra combo duration for your melee weapon. So nice interplay there. And then Merciless is just I'm going to kill things with my weapon. It's the most straightforward of all of them because it's just when you kill someone with this weapon, you get extra damage for 4 seconds and it stacks 12 times and then you get some reload speed. So it's really helpful. Some of the newer ones that are coming out deal with on a certain status effect, it does this thing. So like for Frostbite, cold status, if you get a certain number of stacks on them, already gives you extra crit chance, I think. It's either crit chance or crit damage. So having more crit damage and multi-shot kind of plays into that whole cold thing. Blight is toxin. Like again, there's just I think all of the elemental ones might be the same. Anyway, getting off topic. So again, the weapon ones though are more focused on what the weapon itself is doing for the most part. There are a couple like Cascading Accuracy is on roll. And then like with Overshield's active, you get the thing. But a lot of them have to deal more with you do a thing involving the weapon, killing, something like that, and it does a thing. So, I mean, that's the basic description for a lot of things. Kit guns and Zaws, there's gonna have to be a whole video about them. Because that's a can of worms. So that's Arcanes kind of in a nutshell. They're build enhancers or they're solving a problem with your build. And that problem can either be how do I get more damage, how do I survive longer, or how do I fix my energy problems. Um, that's Arcane Energized most of the time for people. And again, going back to the thing, wikiing things is going to be the easiest way to understand why there's a play between certain things and how they work. But yeah, so that's Arcanes in a nutshell, in a very brief, broad nutshell. Um, I hope this helps someone. Thank you for watching. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.